Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we are going to talk about Blitzfair and most importantly about two tanks that should be available for a really small price compared to their skill and what they are able to do on the battlefield. I'm talking about the Dracula and the Helsing, both being tier 7 and both being first introduced in the 2016 event, Halloween event. Basically, those two tanks are special to me. I remember back in the days before Wargaming released Smasher, Annihilators, etc. Those were the most wanted tanks, and obviously as they were, it was extremely hard for you to get them. And a lot of people speculated over the fact that those tanks would be impossible to get in the near future. Well, maybe you underestimated the greediness of Wargaming, because every single year those tanks are coming back during two events only. The first being Halloween, where they come back in crates like it was the case this year. Second time was during Blitzfair, which is the main event, Christmas event, the main second part of the event. Basically, those tanks are going to be up to auctions. You will have to gamble kind of in order to get them, but if you're lucky enough and smart enough, you will acquire them. First, how is Blitzfair work? Every 1 week there is Wargaming that releases a couple of tanks on their websites. You log in with your Wargaming account on the Wargaming server and you can buy them for gold. You need to have the gold on your account, and it's taken into consideration when you load into your Wargaming account on their site. Now that being said, every single day the price will drop. It starts by dropping around 2k gold and it finishes with something like 500. So obviously when the tanks are first introduced, they are more expensive than they should be. But if you're patient enough, and trust me, a lot of people are patient because most of the time everyone is waiting for the prices to drop to the lowest point before buying. If you do that, guys, well, you can get yourself a Dracula for maybe something like 7,000 gold. And it's not even a crate or anything, it's the direct tank. And to be fair, for 7,000 gold, god damn, yes, you want to have a Dracula, you want to have an Helsing, you want to have whatever Wargaming will propose to you, especially when it comes to the OP tanks. And here, there is no exception. Dracula and Helsing are both broken. Now, the second question to answer is, why are those tanks specials? They're coming from Halloween. And maybe you're aware of it, or maybe not, but every single Halloween tank has a special hidden perks. For the Dracula, it's the fact that it repairs instantly its tracks. And to be fair, it's quite an amazing one, because even if it's shaped like a CDC, it's way better, because here you have a power to ton ratio that is just stupid to the point that you can literally outpass every single light tank in your perimeter. But also, your tracks being repaired instantly will allow you to have more mobility than every single other tanks you could fight against. And this is pretty much what makes the Dracula OP. On top of that, the gun is just great. The mobility, I'm not even talking about it. And of course, having those kind of special abilities allows you to get 5k damage, an ace tanker, and quite a lot of well-deserved credits. But to be honest with you, I'm more of an Helsing player. Both tanks are different, of course, because let's say that the Dracula is the tank that will fit to everyone in terms of fun. Even if you're a bad player, you will like it. But keep in mind that the Dracula is a tank you need to have some skill with in order to play it correctly, because you don't have any armor and you're gonna get punished for every single mistake you make. Which is not the case of the Helsing, because here you have yourself a tank destroyer that goes as fast as a medium, that has a fully traversable turret, and one of the greatest guns at tier 7. It has that two-shot ability, which is its Halloween ability, because back in the days it was the only tank that had this special thing. And now, of course, it got democratized with the Annihilator, but who cares? Who cares? It's cool to see that Wargaming is trying to develop new fields, new point of views on tanks, and I'm not gonna blame them for that, even if both tanks are coming from their imagination. That being said, the Helsing, 2 shots, 210 alpha damage per shot, 420 alpha damage in total if you land your 2 shots. Which means that out of all the tier 7 tanks, beside, no, it's the SU-100Y, but that's a tier 6, but you are the one that has the biggest alpha damage, besides Smasher also. NSU and every single tank that has a 152mm gun. But beside that, yes, you don't have the traditional 400 alpha damage, which is a really good thing. And the special thing about the Helsing that not a lot of people are aware of, or not a lot of people are taking attention or paying attention to it, is that you have 210 alpha damage per shot. But this climbs up when you're using HE. Regularly, if you take a 400 alpha damage gun, when you switch to HE, you have 500 alpha damage. With this tank, you have 420 alpha damage if you land your 2 shots, but when it comes to the HE, you can climb up to more than 620, which means that with this tank, when you're encountering paper tanks or a paper part on different tanks, you have the possibility of sneaking up more damage than an SU-152 or even a Smasher in some cases. And oh yeah, this is satisfying because that will allow you to get those juicy games you've always dreamed about. And of course, those 2 perks on both the Dracula and the Helsing are making them so lovable that every single year I'm telling you, I'm making a video telling you guys you need to get them. Now for the playstyle of both. Let's say that the Dracula will count on its mobility and gun depression. Usually what you can do is trying to pick a move from ridge lines, from mountains, hills, etc, etc. When it comes to the Helsing, it's a little bit different. If you can, only show your turret, because even if it's not armored, it's so angled that you're gonna get a lot of lucky bounces. And doing this, being able to only show your turret, will allow you to sustain more on the battlefield and have more reliability. Now, of course, you can't do that all the time. When it's impossible to do it, well, you should keep it with the rest of your team. Because yes, you have an amazing gun, you reload fast, etc. But once you're circled, there is nothing else you can do because of your traverse speed. So obviously with this tank, try to either stick with the rest of your team or take a position from which you are 100% sure you can't get pushed and you only show your turret to your opponents. And if you do that, well, you can have some good ace tankers like I did myself right there. Of course, we don't know yet what are the other tanks that Wargaming is preparing for the Blitz Fair. We know for sure that the Chieftain MK6 will be here, probably around 20,000 gold, and you will be able to lower down the price to 12,000 gold, which makes it one of the greatest offers ever. But I would like you guys to keep in mind that it's important to wait for the auction price to drop every single week. Don't worry. By my experience, every single year people are waiting, so you don't need to rush on them. Because if you do, you are going to do the same mistake as I did myself the previous Blitz Fair, where I bought this thing for 30,000 gold. Yeah, I know, it's a lot, it's way too much. So please don't do the same mistake as me. Wait, be patient, and please, if you have the gold, buy yourself a Dracula, an Helsing, and a Chieftain MK6. If you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and tell me in the comments what are the tanks you wish to get during Blitz Fair, and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video.